So now that you've collected your data and created the basic graph with the data points plotted, I want to walk you through the next steps. And in my mind, the next step is to draw a best fit line. And as I look at the graph in front of me, before I can draw the best fit line, I notice that I'm missing a few things. I've got my scales, I've got my points plotted, but I've not labeled these two axes. So the first thing I want to do is add my labels. And so we've got two variables that we've collected data on: force in units of newtons and distance in units of meters. And force has been plotted on the vertical axis. So I'm going to add my word title of force, and then I always add my unit in there in parentheses. And the one thing we do in physics often is we label the variable on this axis. So this vertical axis, because I am graphing force on it, I'm going to label it with a capital F as representing the variable for force. And then my second variable of distance, I'll label it down here, distance, units of meters, and then I'll go ahead and label this axis with a lowercase d to represent distance. And now I'm going to draw my best fit line. In science, there's usually some error associated with all of these data points. We call it some sort of experimental error. Of course, there's reasons for that experimental error, but we'd like to eliminate it as much as possible. And our best fit line will allow us to go through and eliminate that error. So the goal of the best fit line is to place it in the middle of all of our data points. It should represent the trend of these data points. It does not need to touch any of these data points, so we don't need to have it cross. And I just put my ruler down and wiggle it around until I've got it in the middle of as many data points as possible. It's a bit of a judgment call, and I feel like that's a pretty good spot, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my line. Always use a straight edge to draw your best fit line.